Announcing the commencement of the first purge.
I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich. You get out there, you use your weapons, and you rip Washington apart. You hunt down the billionaires, the bank bosses, the CEOs, the scumbags, and the liars, the governors, the lobbyists, the senators, because they're all the same, and you hang them.
Just remember all the good the purge does.
Good morning, everyone. It's May 15th, 2018. I'm here at neuralmed.dk. How Zionists deliberately sacrificed Jews in the Holocaust and otherwise to chase them to Rothschild's Palestine. Is Israel their next victim? And this article talks all about how the Zionists and Hitler were really good friends, and they cooperated to send Jews from Germany to Palestine with their wealth. They go over the Havara transfer agreement, and that agreement is all about the money the Jews brought from Germany to Israel. In the 1930s, Hitler cooperated with his Zionist friends who had a good time in Berlin to drive Germans and Jews to Palestine with so much success that although in 1933 there were 505,000 Jews in Germany, in the census, by 1941 another 300,000 had immigrated with Hitler's except in 1941, and another 150,000 were soldiers in Hitler's army. So the Jews to persecute in Germany were few, but there were many more in Poland where they were disliked. And there's a interview with Lord Rothschild, who should be hung, of course. The Rothschilds promised to draw the U.S. into World War I if the U.K. would guarantee that the Jews would have a homeland in Rothschild-owned Palestine. Rothschild's U.S. agent Jesuit Edward Mandela House managed to persuade President Woodrow Wilson to join that war. Mandela House wrote the Versailles Peace Treaty without German participation in a way that World War II was inevitable. Israel is Rothschild's land already in 1829. They bought Jerusalem. And there's a news clip from that era. Rockefellers and the Rothschild Federal Reserve of the U.S., as well as their Wall Street Anthony Sutton even funded Hitler, and via IG Farben ran death camp Auschwitz by means of forced Jewish labor. We have seen that Hitler was a Jew, probably even a Rothschild. So I'll leave a link in the description box. The reason why I picked this is because I'm going to talk about the protocols of Zion. Here's another bit of evidence, if you will, of what the Jewish people really think of us Goyim. I'm not covering this to create hatred for the Jewish, okay? I'm covering this to show you exactly what they think of Goyim and to what extent they would go to to get rid of us. Now, I covered what they did to their fellow Jews to show you if they're going to do this to their fellow Jews, man, you have to wonder what they will do to us and what they have done to us. Alright, this is from the meeting of the learned elders of Zion. I'm not going to hit all these protocols because it's very long, but I will hit some key points and leave a link in the description box in case you care to know what they think of you. You can take my word for it, but I don't recommend that. I recommend that you look at what I present on your own, so you can draw your own conclusions. Alright, number 1. Among them, they want to put aside fine phases. We shall speak of the significance of each thought. By comparison and deduction, we should throw light upon surrounding facts. Doesn't sound too bad, does it? Number 2. What I am about to set forth then is our system from the 2 points of view that of ourselves and that of the Goyim. And you see it says i.e. non-Jew. It must be noted that men with bad instincts are more in number than the good, and therefore the best results in governing them are attained by violence, terrorization, and not by academic discussion. Every man aims at power. Everyone would like to become a dictator if only he could, and rare indeed are the men who would not be willing to sacrifice the welfare of all for the sake of securing their own welfare. What has restrained the beasts of prey who are called men? What has served for their guidance? Number 6. Political freedom is an idea but not a fact. This idea one must know how to apply whenever it appears necessary, with his bait of an idea to attract the masses of the people to one's party for the purpose of crushing another who is in authority. This task is rendered easier if the opponent has himself been infected with the idea of freedom, so-called liberalism, and they're not talking about the liberalism of today. They're talking about true, real liberalism. And for the sake of an idea is willing to yield some of his power. It is precisely here that the triumph of our theory appears. The slackened reins of government are immediately by the law of life caught up and gathered together by a new hand, because the blind might of the nation cannot for one single day exist without guidance, and the new authority merely fits into the place of the old already weakened by liberalism. And it's worth understanding that the brand of liberalism that we have today was created by the Jews. You know, Marx, Lenin, Trotsky, these people. Okay, number 8. Whether a state exalts itself in its own convulsions, whether its internal discord brings it under the power of external foes, In any case, it can be accounted irreversibly lost. It is in our power, the despotism of capital, which is entirely in our hands. Reach out to it a straw that the state willy-nilly must take hold of. If not, it goes to the bottom. Right is might. This is number 12. Our right lies in force. The word right is an abstract thought and proven by nothing. The word means no more than, give me what I want in order that hereby I may have a proof that I am stronger than you. "13. Where does right begin? Where does right end?" We are despots. 21. It is only with a despotic ruler that plans can be elaborated extensively and clearly in such a way as to distribute the whole properly among the several parts of the machinery of the state. From this, the conclusion is inevitable that a satisfactory form of government for any country is one that concentrates in the hands of one responsible person. Without an absolute despotism, there can be no existence for civilization, which is carried on not by the masses, but by their guide. Whosoever that person may be, the mob is savage and displaces its savagery at every opportunity. The moment the mob seizes freedom in its hands, it quickly turns to anarchy, which in itself is the highest degree of savagery. You know, if they don't like anarchy, I think that's my ideology. Yeah. They call it the highest degree of savagery. Well, I guess that I'm a savage. Number 22. Behold the alcoholic animals bemused with drink, the right to an immoderate use of which comes along with freedom. It is not for us and ours to walk that road. The people of the Goyim are bemused with alcoholic liquors. Their youth has grown stupid on classicism, and from early immorality into which it has been inducted by our special agents, by tutors, lackeys, governesses, in the house of the wealthy, by clerks and others, by our women in the places of dissipation, frequented by the Goyim. In the number of these last I count also the so-called society ladies, voluntary followers of the others in corruption and luxury. Oops, wrong way. We shall end liberty. Trying to find the shortest one here. 27. Our triumph has been rendered easier by the fact that in our relations with the men whom we wanted, we have always worked upon the most sensitive chords of the human mind, upon the cash account, upon the cupidity, upon the instability for material needs of man, and each one of these human weaknesses, taken alone, is sufficient to paralyze initiative, for it hands over the will of the men to the disposition of him who has bought their activities. destructive education. Do not suppose for a moment that these statements are empty words. Think carefully of the successes we arranged for Darwinism, Marxism, Nietzscheism. To us Jews, at any rate, it should be plain to see what a disintegrating importance these directives have upon the minds of the Goyim. They really don't like Goyim. Poverty, our weapon. We support communism. Jews will be safe. So, you know, they really don't like Goyim. They don't like Gentiles. They really enjoy manipulating us. And if you want to know more, you want to know the fine details, then I suggest that you read through this entire page to get some sort of idea of what the Zionist Jews really think of their partners. And then that word anti-Semitism really don't have any teeth anymore because, well, they're pretty damn racist themselves. So, thought I'd share this with you. Hope you all have a good day. Kill the state. Live free.